welcome to the Live Loving live stream with Jhon Davis. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to the Live Loving live stream here from fabulous Akron, Ohio, and the John of New Studios. It is a pleasure and an honor to be back here live with you again. I'm very excited to hang out with you guys. It's one of my favorite things to do. I want to remind you at the outset that there will not be one of these for the next several weeks because I'm going on vacation, going to the beach. So the next one will be July 19th, which is my brother's birthday. So I wanted to hop on and let you guys know that right away so you can keep that in mind. Let me jump over to the comments section and see who we got in here. Maris, hello. Bright Love, welcome. And everyone, remember Bright Love and Marcy, Spirit Baby do it. They are the people handling all the chat boards, so don't mess up or they'll take you out. Susan Kelly, hello. Brittany, hey, how are you? Joan Tomlin, hello. Chitra, hello, Chitra. How are you? It's good to see you back. The Mitts, hello, The Mitts. Jumping up here. Denise, hello, Denise, how are you? Who else do we got here? It seems like we're doing pretty well. Mackenzie, hello, Mackenzie, how are you? Maria, how are you? Thank you for coming to my defense. Although I think we were fine the other day on the comments section. Yeah, it's lovely to be here on this Friday night. Hello, Violet Sky. Abe Froman. Kim Jacobs, welcome. Create Love. I love that name. It's a good name. It is a lovely, lovely evening here. And over the next few days, we're supposed to get warmer and warmer and warmer. We're supposed to go up to mid-90s here in Akron. And this area part of the world doesn't take that well. Donna Davison. Any tomatoes out your way, Donna? Let me know. When I started doing these live streams a long time ago, my goal was to literally hold on for 1 second here. I gotta mute my computer so that it doesn't make blipping noises every time you guys make a comment. My goal was to be able to have a direct communication with you guys, and it's one of my favorite things because it is in real time. It's like being able to have a private session with a lot of people at once, and so I really appreciate you guys coming and hanging out, and I also love the beautiful community and the kindnesses you guys show each other in the chat room, and I just like the fact that we're creating a beautiful space here. And I appreciate you. So I just wanted to say that up front. Thank you so much. Let me jump over and see if there's any comments or questions over here already. I thought I saw one earlier. And remember, as Marcy will tell you, and Bright Love will tell you, put things in all caps because these comments stream by me. And what happens is if I can see it in all caps, they stand out and I spot them. And I'll make sure I want to get as many as I possibly can. I saw one about Yeshua, and I wanted to jump on. Where is it? Must be a little higher. Oh, would Jesus want us to worship him? I definitely want to. I definitely want to address this because the core of his teaching was not him. It was us. Greater works than I've done you will do. It is your faith that heals you. You may ask a mountain to move and it will move. Nothing's impossible for you. It was never about deification of him. In the Bible, he never refers to himself as the Son of God. He refers to himself as the Son of Man. Well, the Son of Man is a human. I'm the Son of a Man. And many of your daughters of woman are man and woman, right? So it's a way of saying I'm a human. I'm a normal person. He washed his disciples' feet to show that he was no better than they. And the cool part about that is that he was showing us exactly who we are to the fullest, showing us our potential. And I've used this analogy before of the two people leaving on a trip and one person leaving a couple hours earlier. The person who's left early is not better than the one who hasn't left yet. They just have more information about the trip. And if they're good people, they go back and they tell the others what they've learned. And at one point in the Bible, he says, "Take heart, I have overcome the world." Well, you don't say take heart to someone unless you are telling them that they can do it. And so he never wanted to be deified. And one of the memories I have from later regression was turning down a group, and I believe it was the Essenes, turning them down about becoming the Messiah. But the idea of becoming a Messiah would be completely antithetical to what he taught. So that's my take on this. And I will tell you, my memory of the man was that no choir ever sang when he walked in the room. He was just a great man, and he laughed and he smiled and he made people feel at ease. So that to me is very much an example of who he was, what he was, and what he taught. So I hope that answers your question. Westminster, Maryland in the house. Jenny Brown, my neighbor. Maria, always have your back. Yeah, you do. That was very, very interesting. For those of you who don't know what that was about, I put up a video the other day about love and romance, and somebody came on and put a comment about, "You're taking advice from this man who's been divorced 3 times," and I just wanted to. And Maria jumped in. She kind of got my back. You know what I'm saying? But I want to say this: when someone watches one of my videos and they start to attack me, all I notice is that their attacks are just justifications of why their life isn't the way they want it to be. And so I just look at them from the perspective of, why would she need to attack a video where I'm telling you you can have love in your life and foster the friendship first and all those kind and loving things. The fact that someone had to attack that was not about me. It was about justifying why they weren't happy. And I think that if we could all start to look at when someone is negative coming to us, it's not because of us, it's because of them. And it's a matter of going, okay, unless you're being an absolute jerk and you're doing something nasty, then they could be throwing negative at you for that reason. But for the most part, if you're being loving, if you're being caring, and someone's coming at you, it's not about you. It's about them and what they feel about their own life. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Let me jump over. I'm glad you guys like the Friday nights live streams. I think it's just wonderful. Larry, hey, welcome. Well, Shane, and by the way, guys, if you guys ever hang out in the comments section, you should check out these poems that Shane throws in there. They're just wonderful. I love them to death. So make sure you check out his work. And he's a handsome man too. He almost looks like a brother from another mother. So just wanted to throw that out there. Viking tribe, woohoo! My high school football team was the Vikings, and I used to have a full Viking costume that I used to own, chainmail and all that stuff, and I became the Viking mascot for a short time. Yeah, and here, Brittany, I'm glad you said this, Brittany. If you guys aren't taking the time to watch Marcy's daily videos, and her longer form ones too, I really like her longer form ones a lot. Make sure you do that. And here's something else. She has just over 500 subscribers away from giving away 2 free readings of hers. So if you're here and you haven't subscribed to Marcy yet, which is Spirit Made Me Do It, if you go to the comments section, you'll see Spirit Made Me Do It. You click on her face over there, it'll take you to her channel. You can click on that, go over there and just click subscribe and just put a comment underneath one of her videos, and you'll be in the drawing to win one of her, or as she would say, drawing, because she's from Boston. She'll put you in the drawing for the free reading. So if you want to take a minute to just jump over and do that, I will wait. So just make sure you sign up for Marcy's stuff and get on there and get one of her free readings. She does beautiful, wonderful stuff, and she's one of those people who I absolutely adore. So make sure you go over there and give her some love. Good eye, Jhon. Andrea, hello, good eye to you as well. Trying to get my Australian going. Oh yeah, Mitch. You know what's funny is this. For you guys who don't know what this is, on Alex Ferrari's channel, he has got this new membership group, and if you join his membership group, he's giving extra content, and one of the extra contents was Alex and I did a third meeting, and we just had a wonderful talk. And Alex and I are so fun. And you look around here. I actually did a little bit of blue humor in there too. So if you go over there, see if you can spot it. It almost made Alex blush. It was very funny. But yeah, it was a really good time. We had a great conversation. I really enjoyed talking to him. We just laugh. Oh my God, the Mitch, the Dewey Beach are making me pine away. Except for 2 weeks from tonight, I will be on the boardwalk in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and I will be down there for a solid 10 days. And I cannot wait. I am so excited to get down there. Good morning from Tokyo. My son just got back from Tokyo. He absolutely loved it. He says if he could live there, he totally would. It's a very interesting thing. When I came back from India and Egypt and the Middle East and all that stuff, I came back to America, and I was like, my God, our country is so clean and orderly. And Kynan came back from Tokyo, and he's like, my God, our country's a pigsty, because Tokyo is so pristine. And so I just thought it was a really interesting experience. We both had very different responses when we came back from overseas. Jhon, thank you so much. This is my goal, and my hope is people are finding something in the videos that is helpful, right? My goal is to just put out my truth, and if it helps somebody, that makes me overjoyed, because my goal is to help someone find their own way to create a loving world and a loving life of their own and be empowered. And so the fact that you say that it helps you really makes me feel good about the work. Thank you so much for that. This is a great question. Does loving remove fear, or is it just stronger than your fears? Do your fears actually go away? Well, I'm gonna quote from the best book in the Bible, the book of Jhon. Thank you very much. Perfect love drives out fear. Perfect love drives out fear. Fear is just the illusion that love is absent. And when we exhale, when we come down to that space of relaxation, when we come back to that space of being very present, very fearless, we realize that fear is just that. It's an illusion. And your fears are choices. You can choose to be fearful. You can choose to be fearless. I just, rather than say fearless, I tend to focus on, you can choose to be love as opposed to choose to be fear. And what's interesting is when you release the fears, fearful things stop happening. The famous Swaminarayan story, even the cold didn't affect him. He crossed the Himalayas in a loincloth, And they asked him why he didn't freeze to death. He says, I don't fear the cold. And then the lion was sleeping about 6 feet away from him later on. Another story. And he said, well, why didn't he eat you? It's because I am without fear. He gave me nothing to be fearful for. I find this to be a complete and utter truth in my world. When I just choose to love something, I always get love in return. When I choose to fear something, I get fearful things in return. And so I choose to love. And when I catch myself slipping into fears or anxieties, I know that's just subconscious stuff from past experience or things that I've been told. And I just simply exhale, which is releasing the primal reaction to fear. And I come back to that space and I come back to my natural state of love, which is what we all are. We all are part of God. We're all one with God. And when we come back to that oneness state in the present moment, at the bottom of every breath is where you find God, right? Bottom of every breath, he's right there. He, she, whatever you want to call it. There's no gender in God. But right there at the bottom of every breath is your natural state of love. But it's the fears and the anxieties that come from the thoughts in our head that keep us feeling separate. And that's my thought on this as well. I hope that answers your question, Scott. Maris, I'm so glad the videos have helped. We got sports fans in the house. Donna, I have to tell you, did he get stage fright as his crowd size grew? Not in my memory. It was the interesting thing about Yeshua was that speaking to a crowd of 1,000 was like speaking to your best friend. It was just coming out and talking and loving and just being. He had no fear. That's one of the reasons why when Jhon of old first experienced him, he could feel his presence because he was just the epitome of love. He was just living into that feeling of love. And that is where charisma comes from. People are so confident and so fearless. They walk into a room and the room lights up because of their fearlessness. And when I used to do stage work, other acts used to spend hours, well, not hours, 10, 15 minutes warming their audiences up. And I just knew that I was bringing a great show and that I would love the audience and we were going to have so much fun. I was focused on how good it was going to be, as opposed to having to feel like I needed to warm them up to like me. And that's how Yeshua was. He just walked on stage and he owned the room. People just loved him because he was just love. And I hope that answers that question. Drawing. Tretra. I love that. And yes, Maria, Marcy does rock. So I'm going to do this on the fly here. First of all, I want to make the historical note that the book of Matthew is attributed to somewhere between 150 and 200 years after the crucifixion. That it is also not the Matthew of the 12. It's just a person, and many scholars think this Matthew was someone who came from Peter's teaching. Heaven's imperial rule is like leaven, which a woman took and concealed in 50 pounds of flour until it was all leavened. Leavening, it raises, it grows, it spreads. So the truth within you is the leavening. It's the thing that is making it grow. And you can put a little bit of truth in a large place, and that little bit of truth, because it is truth itself, will grow, and it'll expand, it'll grow out. And the thing is, it's the reason that this quote comes the way it does. First of all, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is coming from the KJV, the King James Version, which is very much King James's way of making sure that he was safe, right? So heaven's imperial rule, he'll never say anything about the monarchy or anything being bigger than heaven or bigger than greater than God. So he's very much in this text, very much putting God and heaven first, right? And then the concept of rule, it's not about ruling. So this is very much a much later interpretation. It's literally about the gist of the quote is literally about even a small bit of that paradise, that truth, that thing that makes you exhale, even a little bit of that in a big, massive lump of not that or fear will then eventually turn it all into something that's more truthful. I hope that answers your question there, Brittany. Actually, Vicky, I do, and in fact, I have a lot of memories of clearing tables after the meals, helping Mary Magdalene, Ishti Mariam, as we would call her, as I would call her, because he called her Ishti, and in my regression, so I would call her Ishti Mariam. So we ate all kinds of things, and if you're about to ask me if he was a vegetarian, he was not a vegetarian. He was not even remotely a vegetarian. He ate lamb, he ate fish, he ate all of the things that were available to him. His idea on diet was just like he says in the books, in the Gnostic text. They ask, what diet do we follow? And he says, I would be more worried about what comes out of your mouth than what goes in. He literally is saying that you're creating with your thoughts, words, and deeds, and what goes in your mouth is just part of this illusion, this substance. So even the animals have their own consciousness, but the physical body of the animal is just in this illusion of belief. So life is eternal. So what's in the illusion of belief is not really affecting. But yeah, I do have memories of eating. And I did a video on my channel called Jeshua Loved Figs. And it's all about how much he had this passion for figs. And then later on, I found that reference in the Bible where he curses the fig tree for not having fruit, which I think is hysterical, because it's like I can see him seeing a fig tree and getting very excited about it, and then going, "Oh, there's no, damn you, tree!" Right? So I could totally see that being the case. I hope that answers your question, Vicky. Actually, it's in that book, but more interestingly, it's in the Bible. Who do they say that I am? Some say you're Elijah, or some prophet returned. No, I tell you, he has come already, and you have shunned him, referring to John the Baptist. That's a biblical concept, and if true, then Jeshua himself said it and it made it all the way through into the later texts of the Bible. So, yeah, it's something that's out there. Could be true. I don't know. I just know that it doesn't matter who anybody was, including me. It only matters who you are in the here and now, because now is the only moment you're truly conscious and able to have thought, word, and deed, and create anything. So that's my thought, and I hope that answers your question, Kim. And by the way, thank you guys. I am literally coming up on. I'm about 500 away from 24,000, and that's only because of you guys supporting the work that I do, and I really totally appreciate it. So thank you, Bright Love, for putting that out there to subscribe to us. My son loved Japan. He's actually here in the house right as we speak. He came back with anime figures, and he's very much into anime and manga. So he came back with all these figures and things and new friends, and he had a wonderful time. He absolutely loved Japan, and would go back in a heartbeat, I'm sure. Oh, awesome, Mackenzie, where are you going camping? I have a camper that I have to finish building. It's in my backyard. But I have so many projects going on right now. By the way, projects. September 7th and 8th, I will be in Columbus, and it'll be my first live speech in years, and I'll be there with a booth. So if you come on Saturday, I am scheduled to speak. So if you come on Saturday, you'll get to see me speak live at the event. But I'm also going to be revealing my Jeshua and Ishti painting there. It'll be done by then. And so I will have it there in the booth if you want to come see that in person. I'm also going to be bringing this one with me as well. So if you want to see this in person, it'll be there as well. Come by, visit me. It's the Body, Mind, Spirit Expo in Columbus, July 7th and 8th. And I hope to meet all of you there because it would just be fun to sit down and talk and meet a bunch of you in person if you're in the Columbus area or within an easy travel distance. So, yeah. Jhon, I'm not sure what you're saying no thank you to. But if I can, I don't know what you're saying no thank you to. Love makes you brave, right? Perfect love drives out that fear. I love it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, Jenny Brown, you have now made me jealous. Jenny Brown has now made me jealous. This is the one place that is on my list of things to go. Jenny, when you're there, you have to do me a favor. You have to take pictures of Jhon of Old's grave because he's there. The tomb of Jhon is supposedly on that site. And the story that I often tell of old Jhon at the temple, and he's like, they're all saying, "Come, tell us what you know," and because he was the last one who'd seen Yeshua alive, and then he walks up, and he says, "Love one another," and they say, "Tell us more." He says, "I can tell you no more until you learn this." I've told that story many times. That happened at Ephesus. So Jenny, when you're there, make sure you get some pictures of my tomb. I want to take a trip there one of these days, and I was thinking about making it a group trip to go to Ephesus. I just think that would be so much fun. I just think that would be so cool. I jokingly say this all the time. I think all of the books are not written by the people that they're attributed to, but the Book of Jhon is without a doubt the most esoteric. It has things in it that I completely disagree with. It has things in it that I completely agree with. And once again, when I read them, I put my love goggles on, and I find, for me personally, the most loving things are in the Book of Jhon. So to me, it is the best for me. That doesn't mean it's the best for everybody. I find Paul to be really damaging to a lot of cultures, and the rules and limitations he places on things really, I think, hurts people's experience. So do I think it's the best book of the Bible? For me personally, I believe it is. But I also know that it's not an accurate representation 100%. So that's my thought on that. Oh, you're so welcome, Violet Sky. Oh, Larry, you have good questions. Look at this. Do I feel closer to God in Rehoboth Beach, Jhon? What are the top 3 coolest things at that special location? Rehoboth Beach, first of all, the town of Rehoboth Beach began as a Christian camp. And eventually it became like a beach resort, and now it's known as the nation's gay summer capital. And it's a beautiful, lovely little beach resort, little town. The coolest things at that special location, it depends on who you are. For me, the coolest things is my family and my lifelong friends are there. So And specifically, my lifelong friend Tim is there, who we have been best friends since we were 5. And in all of these years, now being 60, we've never had one single fight. So the people that I love and have loved in my life are there. So that is very special to me. Just north of Rehoboth Beach is a small town called Lewes, Lewes. And Lewes was founded in 1658. Captain Cook had been to Lewes. There's a very big history in Lewes. Lewes and that whole region was owned at one point by William Penn, who Pennsylvania is named after. And my ancestor came across from England on one of William Penn's ships with William Penn and became the first, had the first contract for making swords for the first American Army. So that's cool for me. I hope that's fireworks. When I think of Lewes, first of all, it's got amazingly old homes, and it's an old Dutch settlement. There's a tiny little museum called the Zwanendale Museum. But right there, Lewes is here and Rehoboth is here, and the state of Delaware has this thing called a cape that comes out, sticks way out, and it's Cape Henlopen. My channel, my YouTube channel, is named for something that happened on Cape Henlopen. The first psychic channeled Yeshua there, and the first words said were Jhon of old, Jhon of new. I love you, I've always loved you, I will always love you. I'm with you, I've always been with you, and I always will be with you. And so the Jhon of New channel is because of something that happened at that special location. So I go there and I hang out with that. Just south of Rehoboth, if you go straight down the highway along the coast, you come into Maryland. And just south of Ocean City, Maryland, is a little island called Assateague. And for anybody who's ever seen the book Misty of Chincoteague, the horses swim from Chincoteague to Assateague. And for me, I go down there and I hop in my Jeep and I drive down about 10 miles. And I go to the beach with no one within a half mile of me. And the only thing I see while I'm down there is the horses walking by. And so that is, to me, is an extremely special location. But for me, really, the biggest and most important thing is the people. And I will say this, do I feel better when I'm there? There's something about the salt air that the second I smell it, I feel better. My skin gets better. Swimming in the ocean, I feel better. My skin gets beautiful. So that, I guess that's I can go on about Rehoboth because I absolutely do love it. And so if anybody's ever in Rehoboth, make sure you go on Rehoboth Avenue to a little tiny pizza shop called Louie's Pizza. And ask for Tim and tell him I said hi. Because that is my best friend. Do I listen to other people that talk about the same thing you do? I don't find a lot of people who do talk about the same things I do. I look for them. But right now, I see a lot of people talking about their own individual spiritual journeys and their own individual dogmas and their own individual belief systems. And many of them I believe in, and many of them I don't. But when it comes down to listening to others, I tend to listen to really positive things. Like I look for positive things. If you turn on the news, you're not going to see any positive things. Very rarely will you see a positive thing. So I tend to look for things that are very positive, things that make me laugh, things that I enjoy. I also like to hear stories about people who do things that are loving and see the results of that. So right now, especially on YouTube, there's not a lot. Now, people like Rupert Spira, I love Rupert Spira's work. I think he's a non-duality speaker. I love him. I like reading Eckhart Tolle. I can't listen to him because he puts me to sleep. But I like to read his stuff. And once again, I use my own discernment about what's true for me, as we all should. We all should take our own discernment about seeing what's true for us. I'm going to sneeze, excuse me. Excuse me. Suzanne. So, do I believe in angels? I don't believe in the angels of the Bible stories. I believe more so in the alignment of that we're all in the oneness of God, and there's individual sparks of consciousness in the oneness of God, and some of those individual sparks of consciousness are more aware than others. And I have had some of those more aware come to me at times to help me on my journey. There's a video on my channel about 3 angel encounters I had. So yeah, if you want to go learn more about and here's something I want to say. If you're ever curious about what I think on something, I have crossed the 1,500 videos on my channel mark. And if on the channel, go to my homepage of my channel, and there's a little search function. If you just type in like the word angels, you're going to find all the videos I've done on angels. You're going to find, whatever you search. So if you go there and you search for something and it doesn't come up, that's probably something I've not made a video on. Or it may be something that I've mentioned in other videos, but it's not labeled that way. So that'd be a great way to ask me. But if you want to see if you can get your answers really quick, the quickest way to do that is check the search function of the channel and see, because I may have already done it. But yeah, I haven't. My belief about angels is not like the external hierarchy of angels. I don't believe in that at all. I believe that, once again, just like Yeshua being a little further down the path, I think there are individual consciousness that's a little further down the path, and so that's my take on it. I hope that answers your question. You mean drawing? Yeah, you put it in there. Oh my gosh, I talk about this frequently. This man laughed constantly. The majority of my regressive memories are laughing and laughter. And he was funny. And people say, what was his favorite joke? Well, that wasn't a joke thing. It wasn't, jokes were it was more of he would say things in a funny way. He would pick on you, and he'd see you doing something that was very counterintuitive to what you wanted to create in your life, and he would kind of pick on you and make you realize that, what are you doing? So yeah, that's my. He was very, very funny all the time. And if you think about this, a laugh is a completely present and fearless moment. It's a joyful exhale. And when you come to that space of being in that place, you are touching God. People ask me all the time what book should they read, and I tell them read comedies because you're never closer to God than when you're laughing. So yeah, he laughed a lot. Kyle, how are you? I am doing well. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're having a great day yourself. I know I'm a little bit behind you guys. Yeah, there's a lot of books, people analyzing from Bible scholars. My favorite Bible scholar is Dan McClellan on YouTube. But one of the things that he talks about, and as a terminology he uses, which I love, it's like everybody who's interpreting the Bible has entered into a negotiation. They go there looking for a belief, or coming to try to understand a belief, but they're bringing their own beliefs to it in some form. And so, the people who are arguing that homosexuality is a sin, they're negotiating that into the text because the Bible doesn't say it. The people who believe in the rapture are negotiating the rapture into the text, but the Bible never says it. So they're negotiating all along. So when I see people analyzing the Bible and diving into it, I always come at it from the perspective of they're negotiating their beliefs. So it always will come down to, no matter what they say or what they talk about, it'll always come down to what do you say and what is your discernment about what they're saying. Because that is the key. Find your truth. and like the leavened bread, it'll grow. hope that is a decent response to what you said there, Brittany. That's him. Was he white? Was he black? He was Middle Eastern. He was a Middle Eastern man. That painting was done within months of my past life regression. I painted that from my memory. That is what the man looked like from my memory. He was a darker skinned man. He wasn't a African black man. He wasn't a white man. I had a group of people, a group of black women one time asked me the question, was he white or was he black? And my answer was, I wish I could say he was no color, because that's what he taught. There's no delineation between man, woman, race, creed, color, any of those things. But people want to put him into the camp of white or black, and the reality of it is, it doesn't matter if he was white or if he's black or any other color. He could be purple polka dots for all I care. The man was a beautiful, loving soul who didn't see the colors, and he didn't see the social structures, and he didn't see the religions. He healed the Roman soldier's daughter. He did all those things, right? He talked to the Samaritan woman at the well. He didn't in any way, shape, or form negate someone for some social structure or social standing or race. Race does not come into, in any way, shape, or form, come into the teachings of Yeshua ben Joseph. So I just wanted to say that. So, oh, yeah, I love sunsets in Rehoboth because it's East Coast. We get great sunrises, but if you live on the bay side, you get these beautiful sunrises over the marshes, and it's just stunning. I love watching the sun do its dance of light. It's just wonderful. Please give me a reference to this, because I've never read the Bible is the best instruction for leaving Earth. I've never heard of that in the Bible. So if you can give me a greater reference to that, I might be able to give you a more solid answer. Bright Love's coming to Columbus. That's awesome. That's exciting. I do know of Brian Scott. I haven't dived deeply into his stuff, but yeah, I do know of him. I was building a motorcycle, and I say was because I have so many projects on the plate right now that I had to let some of them go, and one of them was the motorcycle. I found a guy who was a retired policeman who really wanted to have another Vulcan, which is what I have, is a Kawasaki Vulcan. And he was looking for a project like that. And I had a project that was sitting there waiting to go. So I ended up selling it to him cheap, and he's building it as we speak. So, yeah, I don't have that. I still have my camper, which is yet to be finished. And I still have a painting, which is yet to be finished. I still have 2 books that are yet to be finished. Because it's an interesting time when you're doing, 12-hour days, 5 days a week, and mixing in their videos and everything else. Projects take longer than. And right now, in the middle of my purging, I have to tell you, it was really nice to get the motorcycle out of my garage. Okay, so let me jump over here. The Merovingian line. This is coming out of Holy Blood, Holy Grail. This is the book that was written after Pierre, forget his last name. Pierre tried to claim that he was part of the bloodline of Jesus, and that the whole French connection, and Mary Magdalene in France. But everyone tends to forget that Pierre was arrested and his partner, who was creating the documents that this was all based on, was found being created in his apartment. And there is no reference to this anywhere prior to that controversy and that open fraud. It actually has nothing to do with the reality of Jeshua or his life, and it really is it's a very, very, very well documented fraud. But and I did a video on it. If you go to my channel and search Royal Bloodline, you'll find the video I did on all of that. And yeah, I think you'll find it interesting. Hope that answers your question. I want to come to Australia. I have friends in Australia who are fight directors. One of my good friends, Kyle, lives down there. He is actually in some of the Star Wars movies, and he was the stunt double for General Grievous, Count Dooku, and the Emperor. And in I think it was episode 2, they were all in a coliseum, and all the Jedis were surrounded by all the bad guys. And right behind Anakin and Obi-Wan and Padme was a bunch of other Jedis. And one of the Jedis was wearing a brown karate gi with a foo hair. He had a ponytail on the back of his head. That's my friend Kyle, and he lives in Australia. So yeah, I really do want to come down and see Australia. I also want to see New Zealand in a big way too. But I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so that to me is kind of like the movies were just great. So I want to go down and see those. Oh, Jenny, thank you so much. I want to go stand on my grave. L. Banks, hello, welcome. Dolly's caramel corn. Yeah, for those of you who don't know Dolly's caramel corn, one of my biggest sad pieces of news was when Dolly's caramel corn lost their site. For my entire life, when you went to Rehoboth Beach, on the main avenue, Rehoboth Avenue, the building on the corner had a gigantic sign that said Dolly's. And when you see pictures or paintings of Rehoboth Beach, it's always of the Dolly's sign. And that building got bought out by another company which has really taken over the town. It's the company called Grotto's Pizza. And they're turning that whole corner into something entirely different. So Dolly's downsized and moved down the block, and now they're a little tiny building. But that's the sign for Dolly's was so iconic that when you drive into Rehoboth now, there's a museum on the left side, and that Dolly's sign is now hanging on that museum. But yeah, it's one of the sad moments when I saw that sign coming down off that building, because that sign was the representation and one of the things that really made Rehoboth unique. Anyway, I'm just pining for my past, I guess. Yeah, I love Rehoboth too, Carolyn. Oh, Larry, you're quite welcome. I love to share. You get me talking about Rehoboth, and I am there. We got about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to try to zip down and see if I can catch any other questions so I can make sure. Georgia! Hello, my tribe. So, Bright Love, I'm going to ask you a question. What does a tiger mean for you? Because the meanings of the dream, people ask me about their dream meanings all the time. And I tell people the dream meanings are very specific to the person dreaming. What do you believe about certain things? And so it comes down to, what do you believe about a tiger? What are the attributes of a tiger that show up in the dream? And when you look at it from that perspective, you start to be able to interpret dreams pretty quickly. And I would say, think very simply. because the communication is usually very simple. Melissa Knight, hello, hello, hello. So when you think of the interpretation, it usually comes back to that, the simple idea of what that might mean to you. So, if people were blind, there would be no racism anymore. It's so true. It's so true. If people were blind, there would be no racism. And it's so interesting to me about even the concept of racism. But what I find interesting is my son's class. They don't have racism. They are not racist. They don't judge each other. He just doesn't see it that way. He doesn't see the race. And so to me, I think that it's a testament to how the world is changing, how our younger people are already starting to lead. But they're leading because we have over the course of time here have began to point out that these things are not acceptable in love, and so are unloving. So they just become moot. And so my son is such an awesome kid. I say kid, he's now 20, right? He's an awesome man, and I'm very proud of him as a man. But I'm also so proud of the fact that he does treat everyone equally and treats people well. And I couldn't be more proud of him at all. So one time I had this dream. I was walking through this tunnel, and there was a lot of people there. And this huge tiger was walking through the tunnel and was so scared of this tiger. The people were afraid of the tiger, but you wasn't, and you kept walking. Yeah, that's good. Fear no evil. The Mitz is coming. The Mitz is coming to Columbus. Awesome. Great. Guys, make sure you come. And if you come, let them know you're coming to see me. I'd love to get attached to that organization, to have them bring me out speaking more broadly, because that would just be fun, I think. Marcy has an amazing son as well. Well, how could you doubt it? Yeah, just look at Marcy. Anybody surrounding her has got to be amazing. That's why I'm her friend. Thank you very much. and Denise is her friend. Thank you very much. Right? Yeah. So I know like I said, we're coming down to the end here. As we come down to the end, I want to remind you guys that it'll be a few weeks before I'm back, July 19th. And I wanted to also say that thank you for being patient with me when I go on vacation and go put myself into a state of just bliss for being there. So is there any last questions? We have like 6-7 minutes left. If you have any last questions, just throw them in the chat, and I'll try to hit them before we go. Other than that, we are gonna wind down. Yeah, Melissa, I think that the kids coming up are the savior of the world, and I think that those of us who have been bringing them up have been the ones who have been putting them in that state where they can just love one another. And I think it's been a progression over time, but I think it's really coming to fruition. And the people who are not loving and are based in fear are getting loud and slandering and screaming and hollering. But it really comes down to realizing that they're only doing so because they're losing the argument. As Socrates says, when the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser. Now I'm really curious. Who was dressed like Dog the Bounty Hunter? that confuses me. Who was dressed like Dog the Bounty Hunter? You are so welcome, James. James, did I answer your question earlier? Was that a suitable answer for you? I hope so. Well, I promise you I will take a breath of fresh air just for you, Larry. Yeah, well, thank you guys. Yeah, let's go ahead and wind this down. It seems like we're not getting any more. You guys have a great time in between now and then, and thank you to Marcy and Bright Love for moderating over there in the chat board. I appreciate all you do, and you guys have a great time, and I will talk to you soon. See ya. Bye. Thank you for joining us at the Live Loving live stream. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and visit us at jhonofnew.com.